programming is brought to you by Local Video Marketing. In association with Coach Chick's Mastermind Group and CoachChick.com.
Hi there, it's Kim Lukhard, Hockey Mom RD, and we're at the letter T already. And tonight, T stands for thiamine. Thiamine is known as vitamin B1. So when you're looking at your food labels, say cereal or a breakfast bar or a protein bar, and you see vitamin B1, that means that product contains thiamine. It's a water-soluble vitamin, which means it dissolves in water. And thiamine naturally occurs in many food, is added and fortified in others, and some people take it as a supplement. Just a quick note about cooking. It's best if you stew, steam, or make a soup out of some of the foods that I will cover that are rich in thiamine to maintain the amount of thiamine in the foods, because thiamine is lost in cooking water. It's leached out. Thiamine is known as the carbo burner. Thiamine helps the body turn carbohydrates into energy. So therefore, the more carbohydrates you eat, the more thiamine you need and the more energy you are going to make. Thiamine-rich foods are fast break foods for your hockey player. Here are some foods that are rich in thiamine: spinach, eggs, pork, some sunflower seeds, black beans, watermelon, breads, tomato juice, pasta, and breakfast cereal, just to name a few. The RDA for thiamine varies based on age and gender. Boys and girls between the ages of 9 and 13 need 0.9 milligrams a day. Girls 14 to 18, 1 milligram a day. Boys 14 to 18, 1.2 milligrams a day. Men and women are very close at 1.2 and 1.1 milligrams a day. And breastfeeding and pregnant women need 1.4 milligrams a day to meet their RDA of thiamine. Here are a few ideas for thiamine-rich foods. You could mix a half a cup of cooked rice with a half a cup of black beans. Could be a side dish or your main dish, and this would provide you with 1.8 milligrams of thiamine. Just about all really good breakfast cereals are fortified with thiamine, close to the 100%, making a serving about 1.5 milligrams in thiamine. Choose a breakfast cereal that's low in sugar. So look at the food label, and if it's between 6 and 10 grams of sugar per serving, that would be a good bet. The lower the sugar, the better. It's going to give you more energy in the morning. And of course, pork is a meat that is very rich in thiamine. If you like pork, you could have a side dish of rice and green beans. For more information on hockey nutrition, visit www.hockeymomrd.com and check out my signature course, Create a Championship Plate, to help your skater increase their speed, stamina, focus, and muscle during the summer. Have a wonderful evening. Happy skating till next time. This is Kim Lukhard, Hockey Mom RD.
When we start going ahead and working on trunk stability, the first place we got to start is with stabilization. More importantly, stationary stabilization. So I'm going to take you through just some simple stationary exercises you can do to start working on your trunk stability without incorporating a lot of movement. First one's very simple. Just go ahead and put the band on your back and go ahead and start doing a resisted plank. Very simple. Now obviously, besides a resisted plank in front, we can also do a side plank and work on stepping that. Remember, if that's too strong, you can always take your lower body out of it and just work in this position. The same thing with the resisted plank here. If it's too difficult to go ahead and do it in a full position like this, you can always drop your knees down, keep them light, and work on a resisted plank like that. Now, that's great, but it's in a prone position. So let's take you into a standing position now. and let's work some isometric work in standing. So in standing, we can go ahead and do anti-rotational planks. This is basically a standing plank, but we're creating a rotational vector that's going to make us have to stabilize. We can go into an overhead side plank, all right? So now this is working on anti-side bending, and we're going to have to stabilize in that position. And then lastly, an isometric, we can go ahead and put ourselves in this position and work anti-extension, where we have to work on our plank in standing this way. So there's some ways to go ahead and start incorporating the isometric component of your trunk stability, which is where you want to start. Develop your time, endurance, working for getting your strength built up that way before we go on to the next level of progression. Okay guys, Dave Schmitz, ResistanceBandTraining.com. I want to go ahead now and take your trunk stability to another level. And how we're going to do that is by incorporating mobility. Yeah, we're going to use the similar exercises that we talked about in the stationary component, but now we're going to bring mobility into it. So you want to take it in. So let's take that plank exercise that you did previously, where we had to just lock it out. Now we're going to add some mobility by just doing some simple knee taps. Low amplitude, slow mobility exercises that require your trunk to now have to stabilize while something else is happening. In this case, we're just doing some simple knee ups. Another way to go ahead and do that would be to do some simple mountain climbers. But again, a lot of times what I see when people are doing mountain climbers is their low back starts to rock and move around. You should be able to keep a cup of water or a plate on your back without it tipping off while you're doing your mountain climber. What about side planks? Yeah, we could go ahead and drop into it. Here's our side plank exercise, but now we're going to add mobility by just bringing our foot into it. So now we've got to stabilize by using that foot to create mobility. We could also go ahead and bring in a hip drop by working on our hip drop. Again, we're bringing in low level mobility while we're going ahead in working out of our stationary position. What about in standing? Well, standing, very easy. We can just go ahead and bring in circle movements with our arms. We can go ahead and bring in some oscillation movements with our arms, overhead, circles, and the same thing here. So now what we're doing is we're creating a little bit of mobility, all right, so that our lower body, our trunk has to adapt to that mobility. That's the second level of progression. Super easy to go ahead and a lot of times bring that kind of mobility right into your stationary exercises. So it's a very smooth progression from stationary training to mobility training when it comes to training your trunk. Morning guys, Dave Schmitz, ResistanceBandTraining.com. I want to talk to you today about the third and most challenging progression that you want to work your way up to when it comes to developing great trunk stability, and that is integration. Yeah, we want to go ahead and get your entire body involved in an exercise that's going to require your trunk to stabilize in order for you to be successful with that exercise. Let me show you some simple ways to go ahead and bring in integration. Let's go into our plank exercise. And we've talked about the plank being isometric, and we talked about adding the mountain climber in. Well, now what we're going to do is we're going to add a crawl. So we're going to get our entire body into the exercise. We can go forward, we can go backward, but the key by using the band is making sure your trunk really locks in and stays stable while you're getting your upper body to start integrating, doing, in this case, crawling movements. That's one way you can go ahead and bring in integration right into your plank exercise. Let's talk about how you can go ahead and bring in integration with a attached situation. So one of the ways we can do it is just by adding a step. Yeah, so we go into our plank exercise and we work on adding a step. Now, if it's too hard for you to hold in that position, bring it in here, shorten the lever arm, and add that step. Want to make it more challenging? Take the release away. Yeah, this is where our trunk really has to learn how to stabilize when we take away that release. You can go up here, put it long, however you want, and then add that release in. This is a great way to bring in integrated trunk stability. It's just by letting that foot, come on, as soon as that foot hits, the other one comes off, but we're keeping our trunk in the center. Doing that really teaches your trunk how to go ahead and start stabilizing when your feet and your hands start to move. Let's talk also about chops. You know, a lot of people do chops and they work on doing this movement, but honestly, where the chop is most important is the reverse. Yeah, we call it reverse chops. And so what we're working on is controlling that. Yeah, we're gonna come down slow and work at coming back fast. Can we bring our foot into it? Absolutely. We can go ahead and bring a step into it, but right there is what we're working on. This movement of chopping down is not the key. The downward movement is not the important part of the chop. It's the reverse. It's stabilizing up here with the band. So there's an example of how you can go ahead and really start bringing in integration into your trunk stabilization program. Third and most difficult progression. So make sure you've gone through the progressions of stationary, easy mobility before you start bringing in that fully integrated situation.
Like hold it up when you come up there.
All right, you just practiced with 13-year-olds. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, it sounds weird, but yeah, I do work for a Swedish gambling company here, and we do some. We go around and meet some teams, and I ended up here today. My free will, actually. I wanted to come here. This team, this independent team's been winning the Swedish Championship, the men's league for a few years, and I wanted to see how they work and how they are so good as they are. So. It was a exciting day for me to come here and practice and hang out with the young guys.
Do you play floorball otherwise?
I play as often as I can, and as long as my fiance lets me play. I every Monday night, and then I with a older people, and then with the firemen's, I once or twice a week I'm going to start practicing with them too. I love playing floorball. Hockey, I don't know, it's been pretty good at hockey, and then you're not even close now, so it's not so much fun anymore. But playing floorball is, I could be out there for an hour and don't feel tired. But then when I come home, I'm dead. But while you're running after a ball, I just love it, and 1 hour is no problem. I just enjoy playing.
When did you first play floorball?
I played, when we practiced back in the days with Moto back in when the hockey team, every summer we every warm-up was 20 minutes of floorball, and then I played a little bit in the team back home when I was 14, 15 too. So obviously when you're pro over there, you don't really get to play that much. But now when I retired, I try to play as much as I can.
What makes it such a great sport?
Well, it's fast, and it's the closest kind of thing to hockey you have, except putting the skates on. So, but everybody can play. It's pretty even, I would say. We play with the older guys on Monday nights. They could be 60, but they're still pretty decent players. And as long as you're smart, you can get out there and play and be good for a long time.
As a hockey player, what skills do you think you can improve playing floorball?
The hand-eye coordination, I would say, is the ball comes pretty quick at you, and you got to be ready. And then it's quickness overall. It's a fast sport. When you turn up, you're for centerman, and the D's are right there with you, and you got to make a move pretty fast. You got to know where your teammates are. So it's everything. It's hockey is played a little bigger area, so floorball, everything is just a little quicker, and you got to be ready.
What potential do you see for floorball to grow in North America and the world?
Well, I think it got good potential. It might take some time, but they have the arena, the rinks. You can play on a basketball court. You just get to the boards, and I think you can play. I was talking to a few people that run some a few camps over there, and floorball's one of them, and to do a few other things during the day. But when they have a spare time, they go play floorball again, and it's pretty exciting. It's just. And if you show a stick and a ball to a guy or a girl that walks by, everybody stops and stick handles and tries it. So I think you got good potential. It might take some time to grow, like everything else when you come to new countries, and they have their tradition with baseball, football, and all that. But it might take some time. But soccer is coming over there, and I think floorball's, because it's not too many injuries, it's not any concussions. It's not as hard as football and hockey and a few other things. So. I think parents, I would love to see my kid play floorball. It's a game. It's hard played, but it's not as serious injuries as the other sports. So I think it's got good potential.
The 13-year-olds got to challenge you. How did it go?
No, they were good. You can tell it's a floorball town. Everybody's good, and I was playing 1 against 3 there in the beginning. I could handle that, but 1 against 4 was a little tough, and I got a little tired after a while. But it was, like I said in the beginning, it was exciting to be here and to see how this organization is run, and so hopefully I get to come back one day.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Dennis Chighisola's The Nature of Our Game ranks with other high-level essays, authored by the likes of Gladwell, Percival, and Coyle. It's an in-depth study of our game. It's about the challenges players face in the heat of battle, and it's about the things that influence the way players need to train, both off and on the ice. Get it now, and be well armed to answer almost any question that arises about our game.
Now let's look at those different acceleration with a timer. So what we're going to do is, like what we do with research, we measure acceleration with 20 feet or about 6 meters, and we're going to do 4 different types of accelerations that are typically used in skating instructional programs. We're going to do a crossover hop, we're going to do a running start, we're going to do a start from a T position or a T start, and then we're just going to do a normal push and go start. So I'm going to go, then Nolan's going to go, and we're going to try all 4 of them, and we're going to see which one is faster so that we can prove to you objectively that the last one that we've talked about is just pushing and going, not hopping, not running, and certainly not starting from a T position like this is a faster way. So Nolan and I are going to go one at a time, and the first one we're going to do is the hop, the crossover hop. So we're starting here and crossing over, and then a little bit of a run. And let's see what time I did there. So I was 1.56. And when Nolan goes, whenever you're ready, Nolan. So Nolan's time was 1.53. Now the next one is going to be a running start. So you'll see this a lot of in some instructional programs. They'll sometimes put sticks there and you got to run over the sticks. So let's see what time we can get when we're running this time, Nolan, okay? So you're on your toes and you're running as fast as you can. And we'll see what time I got on that. 1.55. And let's see what Nolan can do when he's running. That was a nice little run, Nolan. That was good. 1.42. With your heels together and both hands on the ice, or both hands on the stick, and then starting from here. So let's see what we can do here. All right, take a look what I did here. 1.40. All right, Nolan, let's see what you can do, buddy. Heels together, that's it. And Nolan was 1.50. And now let's check the last acceleration out. So this one is just a normal push and go. Not hopping, our heels aren't going to be together. We're just going to push and go, and we'll see how we do on this one. All right, let's see what I did on that one now. 1.24. So that was a little bit faster. Now let's see what Nolan does with that normal push and go. Fast feet, that's it, Nolan. That was good, right on. And Nolan's got 1.37. Now I know you saw the times on the camera, and I know that you heard them when I was calling them out, but I just wanted to go over these again like we would do in a research setting, just to make it a little bit more objective. So when I did the crossover, my time was 1.56. When Nolan did the crossover, his time was 1.53. When we did the running start, my time was 1.55. Nolan was 1.43. The T start with our heels together, I was 1.40, and Nolan was 1.50. But, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this. When we did just the push and go with your feet apart in a good ready position, quick feet, quick acceleration, 3 strides, my time was 1.24. So that's almost a quarter of a second faster than the rest of them. And Nolan's was 1.37. So the point here is this, that running crossover and hopping up and down, running up and down, and having your feet together are actually slower ways of accelerating than just being in the ready position and having 3 quick strides.